and just kind of studying whether the movement is asking for too much player power or not enough player power. So I'll kind of explain that in a second. So the first question that I need to kind of address, that I'm assuming some of you don't know, is what is player empowerment? So player empowerment in professional sports is the movement for players to determine, or at least have a greater effect on their payment contract durations and like different rules and regulations in the leagues they play in. So here's a little bit of background information, and I'll talk about that guy a little bit later. So American football is the most watched, like TV ratings, most watched sport in the United States. Yet the players are paid the least of all athletes in the U.S. And that is of the four main sports leagues, so the NFL, National Football League, Major League Baseball, the National Basketball Association, and the National Hockey League. So then the MLB is kind of the number one, like players are paid the most on average, and the average NFL player makes over $3 million less than the average Major League Baseball player. So the two kind of main opposing sides, so is kind of the players and then like team owners and league officials. So the players are concerned about different things like health and the guaranteed money in their contracts, and then the owners are worried about how much money they're giving out to their players, and also the salary cap in the NFL. I'll kind of get into all those things here in a little bit. So first we'll start out with the player's point of view. So American football is also one of the most dangerous sports in the world. It results in one of the highest injury rates of any sport that anyone plays. And just some of the health concerns are concussions, and that can lead to permanent lasting brain damage. Broken limbs and kind of some less than nice to look at injuries. And then some spinal and back problems. So this is a study that was taken just in the last couple of years. I forget, it was done at a university, I forgot what university, but these are the brains of, as you can see, control subjects, so just the average human being, an Alzheimer's patient, an NFL player, and a military personnel. So it doesn't have a scale on here, but the scale kind of goes blue is kind of the most normal activity, and then green, and then that goes up to yellow, and then red. So as you can see, the NFL player's brain is like pretty significantly most severely damaged, followed relatively closely by a member of the military, but so very clearly brain damage from concussions is a serious issue. So I have a video. This is I'm not going to show you guys like the gruesome injuries just because that's not overly nice to look at, but this is a video of Pittsburgh Steelers linebacker Ryan Shazier from just a couple years ago. If you don't like, there's nothing gruesome or anything about this, but if you don't like injuries, then maybe look away, but it's not overly gruesome or anything.
Searching for family vacations? Find it with Vrbo. They search millions of amazing vacations.
He has been supplanted as their lead back by the rookie Joe Mixon, who's looking on from the sideline right now. On 2nd and 5, plenty of time for Dalton. We're short of the first down on the catch by the rookie Josh Malone, 4th-round pick out of Tennessee, and Ryan Shazier, the leader of this Pittsburgh defense, is not getting up.
A shallow cross. You're going to see Shazier, the middle linebacker.
Best look at it, what happened.
Break on the ball. Sitting there with his head down, and that's never a good thing.
as they tend to Ryan Shazier will step aside. No score early in the first quarter.
So that was about 2 years ago now. That was in a Monday Night Football game in December of 2017. So he suffered a spinal contusion that left him paralyzed below the waist. He was unable to walk. He's gone through an absolutely incredible recovery process and is now able to walk with a little bit of assistance, but he's able to walk on a great deal of his own power. And the even more kind of saddening thing is that he was only 25 years old at the time of that injury. He's 27 now, but he's on a great road to recovery. So that's one of the major concerns, and then another one is money in NFL contracts. So NFL players they make, like I said, by a significant margin, the least of all professional athletes. And even in the money that they get, only 60% of that is guaranteed to be paid to them. So in order to kind of combat this, a lot of kind of star players go through holdouts. So holdouts are where the players refuse to play or practice for their team that they're with until their usually higher payment is, their request for higher payment is met. So two kind of recent examples of this are with Dallas Cowboys running back Ezekiel Elliott. So that's him. He was on his rookie contract, which is typically not very much money. And he was putting up statistics that were leading the NFL in a lot of categories. And he has been for the last 3 or 4 years, and he felt that it was unfair how much he was getting paid. So he held out, and he eventually ended up getting the contract he wanted, and it was a $90 million deal, but again, only about 60% of that was guaranteed. But that's kind of a rarity for players to get those results from their holdouts. Another example was shortly after Elliott, LA Chargers running back Melvin Gordon held out as well. And he held out for weeks and weeks and weeks, and then the deadline for payment came up, and the team never paid him because they don't necessarily have to. They're not obligated to do anything. And he's putting up numbers that are similar to Elliott. So now I'll kind of shift over to league and team officials. So what they're worried about is a complete loss of their budget, because, like, as much as it may seem unfair, they are the ones paying, and